question. Yeah, this should go through though. At least I'm getting audio from. Can you guys hear me? I think now you guys can hear me, right? What's up? What's up? It's saying that we have 7, 8 people, which is great, by the way. We still have like half hour to go. I was like, I'll hang out with you guys just since there's so much hype about this. So people are saying like, is this a guitar show? If you guys know, I mean guitars, so don't be surprised. Those are my guitars right there. Here I have the trophy um, for when my car won first in custom, my first trophy ever. Um, so yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I was looking here at some Corvette content, and I can share with you guys here. It's like Corvette Z06 review. So far, it seems that whatever we saw online doesn't make any sense. This is probably more, when Emilia was kind of doing like a reaction to the rev of the car. So it's pretty sounds pretty good though. I'll tell you, it sounds pretty good. I'm not sure if the Z07 package is gonna look like this. If it does, it's gonna be great. Although the pictures that they release of those seems to be the wheels. They release pictures of the car, being unloaded of a truck, which pretty much look like this one. But internet's full. Like if you look at this one here, you can see like the wheels, like the I don't know. This looks like wider. The body looks wider. Uh, so it's pretty much up in the air. This is like the car on the dyno, right? Which sounds pretty amazing, pretty amazing. And I like how this room here. I don't know if you guys ever been a dyno session. Normally the rooms are a lot isolated like this one. So this was like a high level kind of thing to try to capture the most of the sound of the car and make this sound the way the GM wants when redlining. So this is pretty cool to know. But I don't know if the car looks like this, which was the picture the GM released. It's gonna be like, oh boy, here we go. It's not gonna be fun. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to tell. Sorry, I lost you guys for a while, but it's I'm trying to figure out the background audio when we go to watch the actual review. So we good here. Uh, Let me show my screen here so it's easier. So anyway, we are here. A couple of updates about Corvette in general. C5 almost done. I should have a buyer coming tomorrow to look at the car, which I'm pretty excited about it because if I sell the car, I should be able to buy another car, which might be a Corvette, might not. I don't know. It depends what I found online. Of course, it's not gonna be a C8 yet. And here's the thing about the C8 Corvette, right? I really like the car. I think it's awesome. I think it's maybe it's the best car you can buy for to be like in a supercar kind of world. But for me, it's not. I cannot afford yet, and you're gonna say, oh, you cannot afford. Yeah, I can't afford. That's the thing. Like I don't want to get myself in debt just to have a car. First of all, YouTube is just my part time. I don't know. I'd rather build something from scratch, and down the road when I can't afford, I'll try to get a C8, but not right now. It's on the plans. But I like the hype. I like to see the car. Maybe I'll get to drive one, so I can show you guys my experience of having my first Corvette as a C6 base. So you compare it with whatever they have right now. It's crazy. It's ridiculous how different the car came along. All these years since my it's 07. So if you think about like now we are looking at the 2023. Of course, it's way more technology, way more, and all the hype that this car is bringing, right? Because the C8 itself brought a lot of hype, just being a base model, and changes everything with the dual clutch, mid-engine, everything else that you can ask on the car. So it's like it's hard to see a car beating Corvette in that price range for what the car can deliver. So we'll see. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll love to answer. We're gonna wait here. There's no much to show. I make sure that I'm gonna deliver an excellent audio for you guys. You know, because I want to make sure that you guys have excellent audio and you can watch the best way it is possible on my channel. So let's see comments here. Elton, my brother from Brazil, love your comments. Straight from Brazil, anxious to see the next prize. Thank you, buddy. Mike, as always, Mike showing the support. Hey, Matt, watch on my lunch break. As a matter of fact, I'm on lunch break too. So you guys know I still work 9 to 5, but I'm work from home obviously. By the way, I never show you guys the trophy, right? So let me show you guys here. Here's the trophy, and my dog probably is gonna start barking now. So here's the trophy. Let me see if I can put things like next to each other so I can see the comments. Yeah, here's the trophy that I won. I don't know if the camera's gonna show. Yeah, first place in custom. It's pretty cool though. Never thought I would win one. I won. We'll see next season. Now, pretty much the car show season, it's over. But even the car show season, it's over. We also have next year, and next year what's gonna bring, I don't know. Depends on budget and stuff. But maybe a wide body on the C6. Maybe I'm gonna get another project once I sell the C5, which I'm hoping is gonna happen his next few days. It's always funny when you try to sell a car because what I say about the my C5 is like if you see in person, looks way better. I'm quite sure whoever sees the car is gonna say, "I'm gonna buy it," because there's no way the car is in great shape. Like it's crazy. It's in great shape. So uh, if I sell that car, then of course we're gonna have another project here, which I hope it's gonna be soon, soon enough that I can, I can, I can start making because here's the thing: you get at the point that if you do too much to your car, you overdo. That's what I'm faced with my car and my truck as well. Uh, but it's part of the business. It's part of modifying car. You gotta be creative and find parts to do it. So, but anyway, uh, here is what we're gonna watch. Let me put you guys here. Here's what we're gonna watch. Uh, this is straight from GM. We are like 20 minutes away. Right, I'll leave like this. So we are 20 minutes away from the review of the C06, which if you don't know too much about it, it's the bass version of the Z06 of the Corvette. Sorry, I'm trying to read it here and watch at the same time. So it's the best version of the Corvette ever. Every generation has every generation has the Z06 package, which is like the sport package. So that's why the hype is so big on this one, right? So another comment, my friend from Elton. I'm not used to the VOC about the car. So what is the difference between the custom and mod? Oh, custom it stands for customized, right? So when you go to a car show, you have like different categories. The first one is the stock, which is basically how the car came from factory, right? The second one is they call OEM Plus or modify, right? Modify, I think it's up to 3 mods, which can be exhaust, some appearance and stuff, and custom is the third one. And custom is like your car is like one of a kind. Maybe you put like doors that goes up, like you dress up the engine, or I don't know, you did a custom interior, you change from factory to one of a kind color, seats, everything. So that's the difference between modify and custom. Modify can be just exhaust, or maybe just like stripes on your car, or something on those lines. But custom, it's one of a kind. And now they came up with another category, which is basically again OEM, which stock. It's how your car came from factory. It didn't change anything. That's stock. The only thing is you gotta keep your car clean, and that's about it. Second one they call modify or OEM plus, which has a couple of modifications, but it still looks pretty much stock. And then third is modify. It's custom. Custom, it as I said, is one of a kind. You probably did something pretty crazy on your car, or pretty like different, and so on and so forth. So it's hard. That's why the debate it's always like where to place your car. If your car has modifications enough to show like to being custom, but when you go to custom, you have guys like they completely change the car. The car is not close enough to be a stock car anymore. So that's basically the difference between custom and mods. Mods stands for modifications, which custom they have a bunch of modifications, but they are on the extreme. That's basically how that works. I hope I explained that right. uh, but that's pretty much how it works. So if you guys want to check, if you didn't watch, check this upload here, because I show you guys exactly a show and how it is, or even this one here, because some shows you go and they place your car for you. They say, okay, your car is custom or your car is not custom, and so on and so forth. But some shows you are the one that you place your car in a category, right? So this last one I went, which is this one here, I placed my car, and I think I made a mistake to place in the custom and should be actually modified, or as they call OEM plus. So that's what is kind of strange about shows. I'm not actually a fan of car shows because, how can I say, you basically don't do anything besides standing next to your car, and that's it. And basically that's it. I like more driving, and as a matter of fact, this coming November 6th, I have track day. So it's gonna be way more fun. I hope to bring a lot of content out of there. I hope my car survives, because when you take your car from not modified, but when you modify your car and you take it to a track, and especially when you did and this was my first time, open an engine and so on and so forth. So we'll see. I hope the car goes well on the track. It's gonna be a really fun day. I think my car is probably gonna be the only Corvette there, or maybe another two. But it's gonna mainly be supercar track day. So I'm putting my car among those cars, which is gonna be really fun to see what's going on there and so on and so forth. But yeah, we are 13 minutes away from the review of the new Corvette. So expectation is so nice, The only thing though, it's like internet's like a fighting to see who put more content about it. My goal here is to share what I think about the car and show you guys my my point of view. Again, I don't know that much about the car as other people they do, but one thing for sure, the car, I saw the many of the C8 base Stingray, and Fidesz, and if the new one, the C06, it's a little better, it's gonna be probably the best car out there so far. Eyes closed for sure. Well, I'm gonna play here. We have 12 minutes. If you guys didn't watch, I'm gonna play here just to check the audio. There's upload here from my channel, so we can test the audio and make sure everything works because I want to make sure you guys get the best of it, right? So here we go. Let's try. My wife think I'm crazy, so maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy because I say I don't like this, but I did this. I'm crazy. You guys ready? Let's go. Well, good news is that I'm on time. Bad news is we gotta check in July. I have no idea what it is. Well, I hope I can make it. Start of my life, boys. Start of my life. We are on our way to Smithville. It's 2 hours from us. We are in Ford today, which is good. But as you can see, it's still dark. It's 5:28 right now. We are driving for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. I mean, not too much to show you here because it's so dark, but I have Ray, Gary Jr. and myself, so we're driving. That's the best part. So What gets brighter, then I'll show you guys something. All right. All footage you see here is from him. So
Look, an alligator.
You're not cold?
Not too bad.
Man,
My nipples
get up. So we are going to register. By the way, I forgot to say, Gary won the same show that I did last time, but you won what, modified?
Look, we're taking all of these.
Yeah, we take all the trophies.
Modified.
He got the first place in modify. I got first place in custom. So
Look, we're taking a couple of
If
them.
you flip one over, my name's on one.
Yeah.
all right, boys, look at this. It's cold. I don't know if I said anything, but welcome to the vlog. I'm Maddie here, as always. So today we are here in Smithville. The man, the myth, the legend is cleaning there, Ray. We have Gary, Junior, and myself in. As last time, no expectations at all, but we enter, we register, we're in custom. Let's clean. Well, we'll see. They asked me how many miles, how long I have it. It's got judged. I don't know, dude. The competition here is very rough. The car looks pretty clean, but I don't know. Looks. See, it's a clean car, but the competition here. And again, when you are in a car show, man, the expectations, I don't know. If you come with high expectations, I'm gonna win and so on and so forth. Dude, I'll tell you what, he's not gonna do it because a lot of good cars here, so it is what it is. But look at those brakes, though. Those brakes. Come on. You can rev it. You can rev it.
He's gonna put a post-it.
I don't want to.
Real quick, one time. Not
It's not gonna hurt the car. Go ahead.
In and out.
Okay, just let me know when.
No,
Go.
just quick and let go.
Go!
One, down and let
This is
go.
the
Don't
air
leave it on.
outside your house. Sometimes it's hot.
Go!
Hit the thing. But then let, no, you didn't.
Oh, like all the way?
Yeah, and then let off though. And don't leave it running.
There we go!
You are insane.
There we go!
Oh my god, you're insane. That's awesome.
See, I'm impressed you put the cam in.
That's awesome, dude. Wow.
It's everything both riding.
I know, but number one, when you put a cam, you got to put the right one in because you don't have to change the lifters. I guess you looked into which one
I
to put
did.
in.
I
Oh,
changed
you did all that? You had to change everything?
Lifter,
Yeah, but how
springs.
tight did you know, per pounds it told you what to do? That's chancy, man.
Yeah. You're gonna see. Watch the videos. You're gonna see.
I'm not doing
Springs.
Subscribe. I'm gonna
Believe me, I'm handy. I've done a lot. I'm a carpenter, but I've done a lot of work, car shit. I just put an engine in that Camaro. I did a lot of shit, but never the inside of the engine. I'm afraid to do that.
Well, trust me, this was my first time dealing with any engine. Any. I was like, I want a cam.
So you don't have to change the lifters. I guess you looked into which one
I
to put
did.
in.
I
Oh,
changed
you did all that? You had to change everything?
Lifter,
Yeah, but how
springs.
tight did you know, per pounds it told you what to do? That's chancy, man.
Yeah. You're gonna see. Watch the videos. You're gonna see.
I'm not doing
Springs.
subscribe. I'm gonna
Believe me, I'm handy. I've done a lot. I'm a carpenter, but I've done a lot of work, car shit. I just put an engine in that Camaro. I did a lot of shit, but never the inside of the engine. I'm afraid to do that.
Well, trust me, this was my first time dealing with any engine. Any. I was like, I want a cam.
So you don't have to change the lifters. I guess you looked into which which one?
I
to put
did.
in.
I
Oh, you
changed
did all that? You had to change everything?
Leaf turn.
How tight did you know, per pounds it told you what to do?
Yeah.
That's chancy, man.
Yeah. You're gonna see. Watch the videos. You're gonna see.
I'm
The
not sure.
springs.
Believe me, I'm handy. I've done a lot. I'm a carpenter, but I've done a lot of work, car shit. Just put an engine in that Camaro. I did a lot of shit, but never the inside of the engine. I'm afraid to do that.
Well, try.
Here we go, boys. We are still like 5 minutes away, but I'm gonna leave here playing so you can get the best of it, right? Enjoy. I'll come back when the event's over. Here we go, boys. We are still like 5 minutes away, but I'm gonna leave here playing. You can get the best.
Those feelings that I had from the race car, it's right here in the Z06.
Oh, it revs so hard!
Beautiful.
Welcome, friends near and far. Justin Bell here at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Today, it is my real pleasure to take you on a journey to the next destination of Corvette. In a moment, we will play our 25-minute feature film, Putting the World on Notice. It's an entertaining new way to reveal the all-new 2023 Corvette Z06. And think about it, it is an American-made global supercar that is tantalizingly attainable. Stay tuned immediately following the film for a discussion with some of the faces you're about to see. But enough from me. Without further ado, I bring you the moment you've been waiting for. So please sit back and enjoy.
The Z06 was a code for a track-oriented performance option on the 1963 Corvette. The only way you would even know to order it was through people whispering in people's ears, if you want to go racing, right in the box, you want Z06 option and you'll get all this specialty hardware. It wasn't until the 5th generation that we brought it back, and it's become a brand unto itself. You want it to go faster, stop faster, turn faster. Basically, it's the most track-oriented Corvette that we do. Through the 5th, 6th, 7th, and now 8th generation car, we've moved the street car and the race car closer and closer together.
The development both on the vehicle side and the engine side are tied together at the hip.
It's a way to put the best of Corvette together and expand the performance bandwidth. The mid-engine architecture in the 8th generation Corvette allows us to do that even more.
In my quest for performance, a Z06 was the car, which is basically a race car for the street and will perform with the best of the best worldwide.
It's the first time that I had experienced a Corvette on the road that actually rode and felt like a race car. That precision, to me, that was everything.
This is the one that elevates the Corvette brand.
Saying that it felt like a supercar doesn't do it justice. This thing rips.
This keeps you locked in. I know we're having a conversation right now, but I'm still focused here.
Yeah.
I'm still focused here.
The other people that we're competing against that are in a price range that is unique to themselves are going to look back at this as the one that changes how they operate.
The heart of the Z06 is the engine. We had mid-engine architecture, which was a big step forward, but we also needed that power. There was a niche following that really pined for the immediate response, the lightweight, visceral feel of a naturally aspirated engine that would exceed the horsepower of the prior generation supercharged Z06. What kind of powertrain would we need to do that? The only way to achieve that is to do the highest horsepower naturally aspirated V8 that's ever done in automotive history. That's what had to happen.
This is cool. Wait, I gotta look at the engine. Oh, this is the mag ride too. I just started. Wait, can I start it?
An engine of this nature is truly playing in the exotic space. We had our hands really untied to buy the best aluminum forged pistons, titanium connecting rods, to go to the true mechanical valve train. It is a low volume, hand-built precision engine. The big advantages of moving to a flat plane crank is the mass in the engine that's moving the fastest is much lighter. And in doing that allows the engine to accelerate in speed much more rapidly than any small block before it, and also achieve more than 650 horsepower, making it the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 engine in a production car.
We only do a mid-engine car once. We really looked at how to get the engine that we really all wanted to have, which was a flat plane crank V8. That was what we really wanted to do.
Step on it, step on it. Oh my God! Oh, it revs so hard! C8 Stingray myself, Z51 package, just to see the RPM go to 8.5K, I think it's actually 8,600. Yep. This is nuts.
Most of us are used to shifting a V8, you know, 65, 6,600 at the highest. The LT6 will rev to 8,600 RPM.
From 7,000 to almost 9,000 was a whole different range that not many people get to experience.
And it makes power the whole way up. So even when you're up in those higher RPM ranges, you could tell when we stepped into the gas more, you could still feel it pulling.
Yeah. Wow. It's just instant.
And the thing keeps pulling and pulling, and it's all the way to the red line. All the way to the red line. Each time you just feel the power building and building and building. To me, it's what it's all about.
That speed enables the engine to pump more air, process more fuel, and produce more power.
But another part of it is generations of learning how to balance the requirements to make a car fast and comfortable on the track, and also comfortable as an everyday driver. The manufacturing tolerances in this engine are race car tight, and that requires a skilled operator and custom shims to make the resulting engine essentially fit net, no gaps anywhere. This engine runs to 8,600 RPM. That's by far the quickest spinning engine we've ever done. And the only way you do that is to have extremely precise manufacturing.
You guys good, Harlan?
Car 6 ready.
All right, here we go. You know, we're all used to Corvettes with thunder from the gods, V8 sound. My dad has a 62 Corvette, and every time I hear that thing, it's wonderful. Over the course of 70 years now, you know what you're gonna get, and it's this visceral V8 small block experience. So for one, on this car, we don't want to lose that, but for two, on this car, we've got a completely different engine.
We wanted to keep the Corvette sound, but also let you know you're in the flat plane crank.
Right.
One of the first things we noticed with the C8 Z06, boy, the car sounds great outside, but I can't hear anything inside.
It's there, but we can't really hear it in the cabin, and you got to be able to hear some of that in the car.
It's like, wow. Right. Yeah, it's a little like, eh.
There's still a lot of improvements to be had.
This is a new chapter. We really needed to move the needle there.
And it actually required us to completely rethink the exhaust system. And so we ended up actually tearing up a bunch of the back of the car, completely re-architecting the exhaust, decoupling the tips from the end of the pipe, and we shaped the tips like a reverse megaphone. So when the sound comes out, it actually reflects off parabolic surfaces, and that projects sound forward to the driver's ear. It was a huge challenge, but we wanted that combination of sounds great on the outside and sounds great on the inside, and we wanted it to be real.
The big part of this ride is to confirm the sound quality and the sound presence, everything we've been striving for. We have plenty of engineering tools, but for this type of thing, there's a chest cavity pumping thing and just hits you like a brick wall when it drives by.
When you get in the car or you stand outside the car and you hear it and it gives you goosebumps, that's when you know. And this car did that for us.
Hang on. Right there, man. Just gives me goosebumps every time.
I think this is the perfect example of blending clinical perfection and also the rawness that the flat plane crank provided.
The flat plane crank is a symphony.
And hearing the mechanicals work, it's music after so many years.
I'm pretty pumped, actually. That was pretty awesome.
I have a background in footwear design before I came to GM. There, you're designing around an athlete. Everything that we have here is designed around the motor.
We respect our past, but we are always moving forward. We really try to cause the design to look better in a way that the car works better.
This new Z06 has basically started with a clean sheet of paper. I admire that because they just taken the most advanced design and updated it each time. It is so advanced and so edgy and beautiful.
It's a careful balance of beautiful sculpture and performance metrics. We try to make them transparent to the design itself.
This time, we're changing everything but the doors, the roof, and the hatch. It typically starts at the road. Wider wheels and tires, packaging larger diameter brakes, more traction, more stopping power, better cornering power. The front and rear fascias, fenders and quarters, all the aerodynamic stuff is different.
A big part of the Z06 mission is in its chassis. The architecture was designed to put power to the ground like no Z06 before it.
20-inch diameter wheels in the front, and for the first time, 21-inch diameter wheels on the rear. We want to make sure we take full advantage of that weight on the back end, powering off the line to maximize the traction. The fact that we're widening the tires also enables us to create bodywork that feeds right into the engine need to breathe and be cool.
We started putting the wider fenders and the wider quarters on it. Then it was like, okay, we got something here.
Like prior generations of Z06, we have an available Z07 package. That's for the truly committed track person.
You check the box for a Z07, you're getting ceramic brakes, carbon fiber ground effects, you get a carbon fiber wing.
An optional carbon fiber wheel that reduces unsprung mass by over 40 pounds.
Lighter wheels spin faster naturally. When you hit a bump, you want the suspension to react instantly. The lighter the tire and wheel assembly is, the quicker it can do it.
And with the optional Z07 package, we've seen a 0 to 60 time of 2.6 seconds.
We wanted to talk about how we can make this very performance-driven exterior, and how do we take the interior up to another level. When you get into a manufacturing process, to some extent, that becomes very stiff, and there's not a lot of emotion and art and feel to it. How do you bring that human touch? Carbon fiber is beautiful because you have this man-made material that's incredibly strong, lightweight, giving you that performance feeling. Then we bring the art into it by the forms that it has, and then hitting it with leather piece floating on top of it. Each one of them were like building a small sculpture, and it just blends those two worlds of art and science and craft and quality. You get that understanding that you bought more than just something that's exhilarating and fun, but you also have a full crafted piece that surrounds you. If you take exterior color, interior color, seat belts, calipers, wheels, you could build well over 11,000 different combinations. You can truly build whatever you want and make it bespoke to you. Having something that brings the thrill of driving to everybody in their own unique way has kind of really been the focus in Corvette.
Oh my goodness. This is something right here. Beautiful. 1975, all-white Corvette. My grandfather used to work on it every day. Every time I go to his house, he'd be in the back. And that was my introduction to cars for real. My dad's a collector now, and now I had the means to be able to collect. So it's part of my family. It's a learning process for me every day. I'm with them, any conversation, I'm learning something new every time.
Yeah. way we kind of always looked at it is it has to look like it's moving fast when it's sitting still. It's like traveling down the court, right?
100%.
Like it's keeping you in that sight line and moving forward.
Keeps you locked in. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's sick. Yes, sir.
It's your court vision, right?
100%.
Right. Yeah.
Every detail matters.
Our whole goal is to still be able to capture that thrill of the drive.
It should be an experience, man. Getting out of a car, like you get out there and take a deep breath, your heart's still pumping a little bit. Like, you can't get it too many places in my life.
Is that feeling a similar feeling when you're on the court?
Yeah, I chase that feeling. My first few years, you're reading the list. Oh, this person's better than that person. I know they say the same thing about cars, and I finally got to a point where I'm just competing against myself. You know, I've seen my career and my performance take tremendous strides just by that headspace alone.
But at the end of the day, it's how do you build upon yourself to make yourself better? We're nearing 70 years with this vehicle. You have that feeling of who you are and what your brand is. It also gives you that opportunity to challenge who that is, to make it your own. But as you're doing that, you get to look backwards a little bit to make sure you're making the right decisions with where it goes.
I mean, coming from a history of Booker blood that played a lot of basketball, starting with my grandfather, moving down a generation to my father, you know, now me, you know, I just want to take it to a whole nother level, man. You know, it kept me going. I definitely take this to a track and to a really nice dinner, and if I want to make some real noise pulling up, this is what I'm going to be in right here.
Coming to the Nurburgring is the ultimate test. You get every single sort of turn, every high speed, low speed, high grip, low grip. It's a long, flowing racetrack, but with many, many challenges. And you really are pushing any road car to the absolute limit. Every sort of load that you could possibly experience anywhere else in the world, you get it all here on one racetrack.
It really is the benchmark for the world.
So much of the performance of the car started on the racetrack. That's where things are tried because they're stretching the limits and they bring that technology to the road.
When you're thinking about a supercar, you're thinking about speed, you're thinking about horsepower. And without that, you're nowhere. Good luck.
Thank you, Ollie. Appreciate that.
This car goes so fast, so easily, and the ability to just kind of handle the car on this track is pretty unheard of.
It's fundamentally a race car that you can drive on the road. That ability to carve the corners, the ability to put that traction down, is all of those feelings that I had from the race car. It's right here in the Z06.
General Motors recognized this as an incredible place to come and develop vehicles and to compete with the Europeans, the BMWs, the Mercedes, the Porsches. And if we really want Corvette to compete on the world stage and race in a world stage, then we really have to begin selling cars with right-hand drive. We have to do it for Corvette for the future, period.
It's unequivocally a supercar. The Z06 will reward customers that choose to explore its performance limits. And there's nothing more important than that connection with the machine when you're driving something with the performance capability of a Z06.
European competitors have got to be a little nervous. You guys really hit the nail on the head with this.
I've always been very proud of the fact that the Corvette is a purely American effort, but I could never have guessed where we would be today. The new Z06 brings that track experience to the everyday enthusiast.
If I look at 10-year-old me and say, all right, we're going to build this exotic engine, we're going to have the best tires in the world, biggest brakes that we've ever put on a Corvette, aerodynamics that are better than anything we've done before, and you can be part of that, that is fulfilling every dream I would have as a young kid.
I represent one of hundreds that have put their blood and sweat into this engine. It truly does open the doors of what we can do with a small block V8.
We're only just getting started. The project is like going to the moon.
It's a product of a vision, but our team is never done. Z06 is just the next chapter in a very long book.
Well, yeah, I'm speechless, absolutely speechless. It is power like we've never seen. It is obviously fast, beautiful, and just a car, well, for me, certainly made me remember why it was I wanted to ever grab a steering wheel and drive fast. I don't know really what else to say, but luckily for you, I'm joined by a panel who are not so speechless, and we're going to have a great conversation about the film and, of course, the star, the Corvette Z06. So let me introduce you to our esteemed guests. We have Corvette Executive Chief Engineer, Taj Jukta. We have Assistant Chief Engineer of Small Block Engines, Dustin Gardner. Joining us is Amelia Hartford, who is a record-breaking performance builder and driver. And Film Director from Porch House, Andrew Schneider, who was very responsible for the film we just watched. And my friend, retired Corvette racer, 5-time Le Mans winner, 5-time Sebring, and 5-time Petit Le Mans winner, as well as a multiple champion, Oliver Gavin. Well, firstly, everyone, well done. That was just a wonderful film to watch and great to see your participation. Let's get started. Taj, Corvette to you is such a way of life. How does it feel now after all this time? Because I know it is a real progression to get the car to market. What's it like to finally lift the curtain and show everybody?
Well, it's so exciting for us because we've been working on this actually for about 6 years. And when we introduced the Stingray, we were super excited about that, but in the back of our mind, we knew what was coming. The Z06 is coming. And so we couldn't say anything throughout the whole development. So for us, we have to be silent, 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 and all of a sudden it's a burst of energy. Being able to share everything at once is just so exhilarating for us, almost as exhilarating as the car itself.
So I get that from like the engineering and the corporate side, you know, that evolution, but you've actually driven it, and you and I watching, we never have. And Andrew, that was your job. And made me feel that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be looking at this, and then I want to be in the car.
Yeah, thank you. No, we actually used FPV drone. So we actually flew it over the water and into the road and kind of lined up with the rear of the car, and it took quite a few tries to get the timing correct, which was tough because it was raining that day. And we were just very thankful to have that drone in the sky, fly it, and then as soon as it landed, it started pouring rain. So it was meant to be. It was Hollywood.
Meant to be. That's perfect. Now, Dustin, as someone so involved with the engines, I know that even as a driver, we all get asked, what's the horsepower? What's the horsepower? What is the horsepower? I mean, the horsepower, and how did you achieve it?
What is the horsepower? It's about the power, right? At the end of the day,
exactly.
That's what's fueling this beast. Yeah. So it was just last Thursday that we finished doing our testing per the SAE procedure to get everything lined up, correlated with the vehicle data. All that additional cow work at the end to make sure we left nothing on the table is where we got the engine up to a rated 670 horsepower. And right, and to put that in perspective, right, the current highest output naturally aspirated V8 is 620 something, right? So we're taking that crown by a hefty margin.
And when you think about it, that is almost exactly double the first ever Z06. Show how incredible time and technology is. Well, Amelia, I know you love horsepower, and I know you've held some of the records for the highest horsepower Corvette ever built. But what was it like for you when you actually got to ride in it? We saw in the video, you just that sort of the horsepower kicking you back in the seat. I mean, you were genuinely excited.
It was very surprising for a production model vehicle. I have familiar myself with the aftermarket space. My Corvette is about 1,200 horsepower to the tire. And it's hard to get excited with stock vehicles, but when I was in the passenger seat of the Z06, it was such an experience that it's hard to put into words.
And for you, you kept on waiting, I'm sure, at around 6,000, 6.5 to shift.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're like, oh, something's going wrong.
I was expecting it to shift at 65, but then it wasn't. And there wasn't a drop off of horsepower either. I'm just like, you can see me getting thrown in the seat in a high RPM. Like, it just had so much torque and it just kept going.
Fantastic. Well, the enthusiasm definitely came across. But it's the same really for you, Ollie. What was it with you that resonated about the new Z06?
So when I got in the car for the very first time at the Nurburgring facility that the GM have, and I got in, put it in track mode, just drove it down the street, it just had all of those feelings of the race car. So, you know, to me, it is that amazing machine that not only can just be a daily driver and you can drive it to the racetrack, but then when you switch that engine mode, the car just comes alive, and all of a sudden you're in a race car. It's amazing.
So that distinction between road and track is really less than ever before.
The gap between the road car and the race car is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So now here we have the 8th generation mid-engine Z06, and it's just got all of that race car feel to me. All the lights are on, and it's just fantastic to be experiencing that.
Imagine that this is part of the excitement for you too, though, when you hear like Amelia and Ollie, even with all his experience and all her horsepower, talk about the cars. I mean, Dustin, that engine, creating it, and as you say, just getting the final horsepower numbers, but it still must be very gratifying to know that someone like Amelia and Ollie just go, oh, wow, this is the real deal.
No, it's extremely rewarded, just for myself and the extended team of working on it, right? The LT6, it's hard to put into words the emotion you're trying to communicate or give somebody, and Amelia, your reaction sums it up, right? It's not something you can verbalize. It's an emotional experience. It both gets you, as you said, mentally when you see the tack zing past 6,600, and the LT6 wants to do that with great authority, right? It flies past 6,000, 7,000 up to the red line. And then so there's the mental side of it, of just getting used to the engine going that high. Then there's the exhilaration of the sound.
You were saying earlier on about that initial shift when you got it in first gear and you stand on the gas, you've got to be really on it to get it into second gear so you don't get into the rev limiter there. But that's how quickly it accelerates, and it just revs up so fast. It's just pulling all the way through to 8,600.
Yeah, I was just going to speak to that revving as high as it does is one thing, but how quickly it revs is another. Because it's not like it's a slow progression from 6,600 to 8,600. It goes fast. It revs quickly. But I mean, that's a testament to everything you guys have done with the flat plane crank.
Yeah, the torque peak is right around where you'd normally shift, 6,300 RPM. So that's where it really starts to pull hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just feel everybody's enthusiasm, and even you guys have been living with it. You've been just experiencing it. But Andrew, how difficult is it to capture people's reactions? Because there really is only one first time.
I mean, Amelia's reaction was one of my favorites of the film for sure, because we really kept her away and out of the car's line of sight. The car was covered. We wanted to keep it as genuine as possible.
Now, as you said, your enthusiasm for Corvette has been there for years, but what was it? What drew you to the cars?
How I found my passion for cars actually started with an LS small block. And from there, I've done a lot of different builds. I've done a lot of different motors in said builds, and I've also swapped a lot of LSs in those builds. And I think at the time when the C8 was first announced, the Stingray, I was looking for what my next project was going to be, and I wanted something that was going to challenge me. And just seeing what everything was going for in the market and what you get in return, I didn't feel that there was a lot of options. And I decided that I was going to take the step into more of the supercar world. And ironically, after I made that decision, a week later, you guys had announced the C8 Stingray. And I thought it's unbeatable. For everything else in the market, not only the price, but the power, the capabilities the car has, I just saw it as the perfect challenge.
Tad is looking, saying, "Please don't touch my car." That's actually what's happening right now.
Please don't put turbos on it.
I was taking an attack onto her comment. She's one of the first people who realized that the basic chassis and platform, the C8, can handle a lot more power.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ollie, a follow-up question, because arguably the toughest crowd to please will be in Europe with the Z06. So how do you think it's going to be received there?
So the reception of the Stingray has been fantastic, and I think that the Z06 is only going to build on that. It's been remarkable when you see how the UK has accepted the car, but also throughout Europe. You know, the buzz is there, the orders are pouring in. In fact, we can't almost keep up with that demand for the Stingray, but now with the Z06 coming on, that's just really going to build on that ground that we've laid. And you know, the performance numbers from the Z06, everybody's going to be absolutely so excited to see the car out on the road. I think it's going to be just so much fun to have.
Taj, the driver experience, I mean, you have someone like him who's a bit of a ringer, right? So, you know,
bit,
his driving experience is somewhat differently distorted. But what was your goal for the driver experience when they got in the car? Because it isn't one size fits all, is it?
No, in fact, even though the numbers are phenomenal, it's not really a numbers car. You know, we're all talking about the sensory perception of what it's like to be in the car, to drive the car, and making that performance accessible. It's not just a pinnacle, super fast lap, but how do you get there? How does it feel as you do it?
And I think this is also a thing where we've learned from the racing program, you know, over all of the years, all the generations, but now we're seeing it really transferred over into this Z06. And the performance of this car.
I mean, you can definitely feel the excitement, Andrew, right? Whether it's from the people that built it, the people that drive it, the people that are going to mess with it.
She promises not to.
She promises not to.
Not my words.
No, you can feel this build-up of anticipation, excitement. But something else that was wonderful, I thought, was the mix, the sound mix, the way your audio guys did that, combining the sound of the engine and the running of the car with the music.
I'm glad you caught that. Something that was early on in the development stages for the film was that we were going to take the audio sound of the car and blend it with the music. So if you listen closely, maybe on the second watch, you'll actually notice that in times we kind of blend the audio notes that we captured with the soundtrack.
Especially on that edit with the wheel.
That too, yeah, for sure. And it's all about spatial audio and throwing it to different places to really, you know. But the exhaust note was such a huge talking point for the car and the story that, you know, it was important.
Well, obviously capturing the audio is one thing, but you heard it first hand in the audio dyno booth. What was that like?
Funny enough, I wasn't supposed to be there that early for it. I showed up to set 5 hours early because I heard there was going to be some audio dyno testing done on the car, and I had to be there to hear it. But just hearing and seeing the Z06 for the first time, not to get corny, but it was emotional for me because 2 years ago I was just a customer buying a C8 Stingray for the first time, and I don't think Chevrolet expected what I was going to do with the car, and I can promise you I didn't expect it because I have video footage saying I was going to leave the car stock and not touch it. So just to see where, you know, in the past 2 years of just buying the car as a customer to being able to sit here with everyone on this panel on the Z06 film and being part of the launches, it's incredible. It's insane.
But that little bit about the contours of the the exhaust tips, forcing back the sound, reverberating back. I mean, that's the first for Corvette, I'm sure.
What we knew was this engine was capable of providing an aural experience unlike any other. And so it ended up re-architecting the whole exhaust system. In fact, the whole lower end of the rear fascia ended up having to be redesigned. We had to put these reverse megaphones mounted to the fascia so the sound pulsations as they come out of the exhaust reflect off that parabolic surface and go forward. From the outside of the car, just if you don't look carefully, it just looks like a regular old exhaust. But actually, there's a ton of science going on right there.
Ollie, we talked about being here in America. It is a global car. It's a car that's got to appeal around the world. You get to drive all sorts of things, as do I. How do you think it'll be compared around the world?
Well, I think that this is going to be an amazing moment for Corvette. You know, this is a global supercar coming out, being launched today. Anybody's going to be able to go out and buy this car and be able to take it to a racetrack and experience it just like I will be able to. And, you know, I think that's so special that people are going to be able to really experience that race car technology here, right here in a road car.
Well, everyone's enthusiasm is amazing, and you can tell, I mean, you can just understand why this car is so special. But some final thoughts, Taj.
Well, the enthusiasm is genuine. You can see the passion, and we that are in the film and here today are just the tip of the iceberg. There's hundreds of people, whether it's in engines or the whole rest of the car, hundreds and hundreds of people at General Motors or at our suppliers who share that same passion, and that's what makes the car what it is. It's a wonderful machine, and we spent a ton of time trying to articulate what it is and how it drives. The best way to explain it to somebody is throw them the keys and walk away. The car talks for itself.
Well, guys, just truly amazing to be with you. Your brilliance, your enthusiasm, your passion, and your ability to capture it, and your ability to drive it, Ollie. It's just amazing, and I can't wait to get behind the wheel. And thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Now, if you're like me, I'm sure you're going to want to go back and watch the film again, especially with all the insight from our guests here. And the good news is it will continue to be available to you on chevy.com/Z06. And to our baseball fans out there, keep your eyes peeled for an appearance from the Z06 tonight as you watch Game 1. And with all that, you're definitely a baseball fan. And with all that, from all of us here at Corvette, thank you so much for joining us. This is Justin Bell signing off.
Well, that's it, boys. Some stuff that they didn't say. The price, of course. The price, of course, they didn't say anything. Or maybe I miss it. I don't think so. What do you guys think? They didn't say the price. They didn't say how fast the car was on the track. But I think that's just to create more hype, right? Of course, the main takeaways from it: horsepower, 670 horsepower. Of course, wider fenders, carbon fiber wheel, big wing, the brakes, nice brakes, and well, I think GM put a good package together. So I bet a lot of you guys have more questions, which we probably don't have the answer right now. So if you're here, if you're new here, subscribe for more Corvette content. And of course, we're gonna find out more about the car soon. So I hope you guys enjoy. I try to bring you as much quality as possible on the video, which actually wasn't a live, was a pre-recorded film, which is fine, but I think the main goal was to see the car itself, and we'll see more to come. I really appreciate you guys coming here to my channel. If you're here, make sure to subscribe. More content come to you about Corvettes in general. So let me see if there's anything here on the comments. Bruno Augusto, Full Tech Brazil. Yeah, I follow Full Tech Brazil, but if you guys want to subscribe, if you guys don't have any questions, I really appreciate your support. I'm gonna get my lunch and enjoy some pictures that they probably gonna release. Man, the car is sick. Overall, the car is sick. I love the wheels. I love the fenders. I love the power. Everything about the car. Of course, more changes. I think they're gonna release more details on it. So far, I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.